And welcome back to Zidnaf playing this ancient computer game at 2 in the morning. I looked a little bit at the website for this Pangea company today. They have a section for customer support where they've posted a couple really funny emails that they've gotten over the years. Alright, let's just hang out at the main menu here for one moment while I double check that this stream is in fact happening and I'm not just talking to an empty room right now. Please tell me, even if there are no humans here, please tell me I am at least speaking to a YouTube server somewhere. Alright, I think I am actually live. Howdy howdy, Panda Eric. Once again, if the audio balance between the game and my voice seems off to anyone, please do let me know, because that is fixable. And I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm nervous about having gotten that right. Welcome back, some dude 5990. I remember... Whoop. Okay. I don't remember how this level works. If I avoid you... I remember this gets harder as time goes on, because she spits out these big yellow honey blobs, and they don't go away. So, like, the longer I take in this level, the more difficult it gets, I think. It's like, if I just go around the edge... Are there any blue clovers in this level? There are. Alright, let's just go around getting those real quick. Whoop. The hallways in the last level were hexagonal, but this hallway isn't hexagonal. That's disappointing. I thought the hexagonal hallways were a nice little artistic touch. Alright, there's a whole... I think you are intended... Okay, this is very bad strategy of me. There's all of these buffs, this little immortality thingy that I have here. There's all of the stamina. The little mushrooms are stamina. By the way, I was sitting here recently, or I rewatched one of the... I rewatched yesterday's stream, and I was looking at me getting stamina from these little mushrooms, and I was going, why mushrooms? Why do mushrooms refill your stamina? And I thought that to myself, and I was like, shit, is that a Mario reference? Like, is that a deliberate reference to Mario? Because I don't know why else mushrooms would give you stamina in this game. I feel like over and over again, I'm like processing things from this game that like I'm only now old enough to understand. Have I been all the way around yet? Because if I have, then where is the fourth blue clover? Hello, Trinity Null. Some dude 5990 wonders whether there are people speedrunning this. Good question. I have no idea. Okay, are these little nuts, like, respawning? Or... like, I feel like I must have made a full circuit by now. Congratulations on being on time, Trinity Null. I feel bad for setting 2 a.m. as on time for anybody, but it is what it is. Okay, can we speed this up at all? Whoop. Okay, I should probably just restart the level at some point. I'm so behind on health here. Okay, I've definitely made at least one full circuit here, which means these little stamina bonuses are respawning. I didn't think that happened in this game. Some dude 5990 says it's 10 a.m. here. Are you the one from Poland? I remember that you've shown up to previous streams, but I do not have the different people in chat straight in my head. Are you the last blue clover? Yes. Okay, so 3 of them are along the periphery, and 1 of them is right over here. Okay. Whoop. Oh boy. Lydia Momidia says, what game is this? Lol. This is Bugdom. It is a 1999 computer game that's been ported to modern Macintoshes, and I grew up playing this thing. It came for free on on old iMacs back then. Okay, have I lost already? Am I gonna be able to get to the Queen Bee, or is she forever? Okay, can I? Whoop. I know the main way you're supposed to attack her is by rolling up into a ball. Alright, some dude 5990 was not the one from Poland. Apparently he... well... or they are in Germany. Alright, geographically it wasn't that far off. That is so weird looking. The little squished sprite got risen up by the spikes. That's so funny. Okay. What am I doing in the game? Asks Lydia. Kind of just playing through it. It's not that huge a game. It has 10 levels. I'm trying to get as high a score as I can, I guess. There's a whole bunch of collectibles in each level, and I'm trying to get all the collectibles. I'm trying to get... There's 4 blue clovers in each level, and scattered throughout the 10 levels, there's a total of 4 gold clovers, and I've gotten 2 of them so far. Okay, can I... I'm not sure I've done this poorly in this game before. I feel like I'm kind of floundering here. I haven't landed a single hit on the main boss of this level yet. Can I lure you out somehow? Someone asked what time zone I'm in. I am in Colorado. It is 2 a.m. You're on the ground and crap. That would have been a great opportunity if I'd managed to get over to her fast enough. Will this work? Yes! I landed a hit on her and I died. Okay, should I start over? Let's see. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna start the level over. And I'm gonna try a slightly different strategy here. Let's... Some dude 5990 says this music makes me nervous. I think it's cool. It's evocative of Flight of the Bumblebees, so it's like, it's bee-themed, because this is one of the 2 bee-themed levels. I think it's one of the... Okay, let's see. Can I just... Yeah, this is way easier if I try to get at her before she can spread honey everywhere. Come on. And die. Yeah, I've got half her health already. Okay, if I get her down to, like, really low health, and then... Okay, I'm gonna get one more... Okay, I think that's, like... I think she's down to, like, 1 hit point or so, so if I can just... Okay, these guys don't do that much damage. Can I just let them sting me? Because it's like... Whoop. Okay. Whoop. Shit. Wrong button. Wonder if this little helper bee can do damage against the queen. Because if so, I might be able to get her without having to roll into her again, which would be nice. Someone in chat says, "You've got this, Zidnaf." Thank you, I hope so. I'm not saying the name of the person in chat, because that looks like a hard to say name. It wouldn't be that hard to say if I weren't trying to... This is taking a fair amount of my focus compared to previous levels. Come on. Come on. In most of the levels, there's a little end point that you're just trying to get to, and if you just get to the exit in time, or not in time, there's no time limit. If you just get to the exit, then you can finish the level. But some levels have like a big, are like boss fights, and you need to like kill the boss in order to progress. And this is one of those levels. I think there's 5 levels like that. Level 5, where the big boss is the beehive itself, and then there's this, where the big boss is the queen bee, and then level 10, you fight King Thorax, the king of the ants. Okay, I've got all blue clovers. Did I do it? Did I win? I won! I kind of didn't think that would work. Alright, person says I'm Swedish. It's just like call Okay, hang on. No, I'm not giving in that easy. It's Kalelel la Cave. Kalelel la Cave. I'm gonna go with Kalelel la Cave. I hope that at least gets me close. Alright, level A. I remember this one being really hard as a kid. I remember this level. I remember getting lost in this level and getting very turned around and confused. But man, the music in this level was good. I think Pangea like reused this song for like future games they made. I think they put it in Enigma. Alright, apparently Lilakave is their last name. Is the C a hard K? Am I at least getting that much right? Alright, where am I? This is gonna be a challenge. God, there's... I found a map of this level online that I intend to use heavily here. But honestly, the map that I found online was like really simple looking, and I'm still looking at it going, this can't be the whole story. Alright, the game really wants me to be full up on stamina. Okay. I think the main way you're supposed to defeat the... Whoop! I think the main way you're supposed to defeat these fire-breathing ants is by rolling into them. I kind of want to be a bit sparing with my stamina right now. Alright, is this a little outcropping I started on? I think it is. The map says that I should have spawned in... Oh, cool. Extra life. Map I found online says that somewhere around the edge of this room should be a blue clover. Oh god, I am already so incredibly turned around. Oh, huh. Okay, apparently the C is like ts, so Lilatseve. Lilatseve. Interesting. Okay, alright, I am not doing too hot here. Oh hey, in an earlier stream I remember mentioning this glitch where the ants just sort of stand there instead of fetching their spears to throw them again. I love it when they do this. I feel like I've converted them. I've pacified them without having to kill them. See? This guy's friendly now. He follows me, he watches me creepily, and I'm about to die. Alright, you know what, I'm gonna start the level over, and this time I'm gonna try not to die. I'm losing language nerd cred with my pronunciation. Man, I'm not sure I ever should have had any language nerd cred to begin with. Have any of you ever seen the first video I ever posted? Like, the first ever one, the Proto-Indo-European pronunciation. I think I must have been 16 when I posted that. Oh, Jesus. And I'm gonna turn 30 next summer. I'm almost double the age I was when I posted that first video. That is insane to think about. Who do I need to talk to get time to stop? Time is going too fast, and it needs to slow down a little bit. I was 16, and I think I got into linguistics when I was like 13 or so. I think I was 13 when I started getting into Lojban. By the time I was 16, I knew just enough to make a little, to know what Proto-Indo-European was. Okay, can I kill this ant without, whoop? I knew just enough to make an attempt at pronouncing Proto-Indo-European, but not nearly enough to actually do, like, a respectable job in any way. My place in linguistics lore is entirely due to, like I got on YouTube early. I started making... Okay, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Blue Clover. I saw on the map that it was around the edge of this room somewhere. Okay, for most of the levels, I've been trying to get all of the green clovers, but I might have to give up on that for this level. Some dude 5990 says, really liked your video on how languages change though, well argued. Are you talking about the one about is English getting simpler? I was thinking recently, because someone asked last stream what my, like, which video I'm most proud of looking back on. It might be that one. Because, like, that one was just something I didn't have an answer to when... And I'm dead. Why did I do that? If I had just kept walking straight, I would have been fine. Yeah, that is English getting simpler video is... Like, I didn't really have a good answer to it when I started doing research about it. I was like, I don't know. For all I know, maybe, like do in fact I still kind of wonder about this. I'm not sure I fully like disproved this hypothesis, but I sort of wonder if languages have a tendency to get more analytic after they've developed a writing system, or at least, I don't know, at least get less fusional. So like maybe that would explain why so many languages have gotten have like changed in similar directions over the course of recorded history. I'm not sure I fully like disproved that hypothesis or even really provided like good enough evidence against it. Whatever. Still one of my better videos in hindsight, I think. Okay. Alright, that is the video that some dude was talking about. Okay, the map that I have... Okay, I think... What am I supposed to do here exactly? I could trick them into using their own fire to blow up that stick of TNT, but I'm not sure I can do that without getting caught in the blast radius myself. Some dude says, I think spoken and non-standard languages don't get enough respect. In what sense? Like, you're probably right, but I don't know. Respect from who? What sort of respect? Okay, I thought that was like a fork in the road, but I'm realizing I'm gonna have to get past all of these guys. How am I supposed to do this? That could have gone a lot worse, I think. Is it worth it to try to get in there for that acorn? Fuck it, I'm going for it. Alright. Alright, so previously I've been pretty completionist about this. I've been going through... Hell, I'm not sure I want to try to get all of the ladybugs in this level. These... You know, as soon as I said that, I feel like I'm being a quitter. I hope you guys like this music, because I might spend a while in this... Wait. Where am I? Oh, I see where I am. Okay. Ah, ha, ha. Maybe I could, like, go off and, like, practice this level a whole ton, and then, like, come back and play it and be super completionist about it, just to show off. Oop. This is a waste of this little power-up. Whoop. And I went right into the puddle of acid. Oh boy, I remember these guys. These guys pick you up and drop you... Alright, the gold clover is marked on my map. I didn't think I'd run into it by accident. But I should kinda know where I am now. Theoretically. Okay, I want to try to get that acorn. Am I gonna have to try to get past all of these fireflies? I hope not. I think I'm just supposed to go around this way. What? Some dude 5990 says, I feel like people consider them mistakes and always argue about which version is more correct, i.e. closest to the standard version. Yeah, I've thought about this a bunch, because there's people I know IRL who definitely think that way. I think it's like, I would hypothesize that, like, if you, no matter what it is, if you put a lot of effort into doing something a particular way, then, like, it doesn't matter how arbitrary whatever you're doing is. It doesn't matter how... It doesn't matter if there's actually any benefit to doing it that way. Like, if you just spend lots of time... I'm gonna abandon that clover. If you just spend lots of time trying to do something a particular way, and then you see or somehow witness someone doing it some other way, then I think it inevitably kind of hurts a little bit, you know? Like, it inevitably winds up feeling kind of painful. Like, something in you, like, as long as you're, like, reasonably empathetic and can kind of put yourself in their shoes, something in you will just be going, no, that's the wrong way, stop doing it that way. And lots of people go way out of their way to try to speak using, like, the standard formal register of a language. And a lot of people even try to, like, train out of themselves the habit of speaking a language the way they grew up speaking it. I'm not defending it. I've given a fair amount of thought to like why is this the case? Like why don't spoken and non-written dialects get like the respect they deserve? Oh boy. Please, okay, don't kill me. It always surprises me how, like, the range that these rock-throwing ants have. Like, I'll always think I'm out of throwing range, and then I'll get hit in the back of the head. I don't know why this guy isn't throwing more rocks at me. But I think what's really cool is how, oh boy. I've seen some cool videos about how this pattern I just described, though, of going way out of your way to try to sound Kalilil, I've already forgotten how to say their name. The Swede says, I learned how to speak English from Eminem. I am curious what you sound like speaking. That sounds interesting. In school, I tried to erase my native speech. I had to train myself to talk my own way again, says Trinity Null. Yep, I think that's a common thing that happens. Where am I on my map right now? Okay, I think I know where I am. I think if I just go forward, should I be okay? Theoretically? I've seen some cool videos about how, especially like in England, like the pattern of people going way out of their way to like erase the way they natively speak and to try to adopt a standardized formal register. Especially in England, it seems like that's becoming less the case over time. Oh boy, holy crap. Would have sworn. Okay, can I get you just a little closer so you can blow up that TNT? How did I get close enough to get hit by the fire, but not close enough to get them to... Come on, please. Thank you. Now, right over here. That was not worth it. Some dude says, I learned English from a Sonic X Final Fantasy Flash fan game. Can I get through here? I think as time goes on, people are taking more and more pride in the way in like speaking in a sort of regionally distinctive way, and I think that's really cool. I've heard that in England people are doing that. I forget where I've heard that from. Joff Lindsay, probably. I don't know how to say his name out loud. I've seen it written, but I don't know how it's pronounced. Dr. Lindsay. He's, I think, my favorite linguistics YouTuber. Most of his work is in phonology, and his videos are just fantastic. And they're made by like one of like the world's most preeminent experts in linguistics and phonology. And they're also just well-made videos. Please? But... That's useful. Whoop. I should probably be using the sprint function more often. I've been underutilizing it. Okay. I feel like the game kind of wants me to go forward and to climb up that little hill. But the map says that if I go this way, I should get to the last... Of course, I'm not going to be able to get past that, am I? Oh boy. Okay, where does that mean I am? Man, this music is good. Where am I? What's up along this hill? Okay, so that's... Alright, that's the blue clover. There's one more blue clover, but I should know where it is if I can just orient myself and figure out how to get to the next room. What is this wall? If this wall... Does this wall, like, connect to the walls around the whole room? I don't think it does. I think it's just an isolated little wall that you can walk all the way around. Which means I think I know where I am? I have no idea where I am. I meant it when I remembered this level being really, really easy to get lost in. And I think my memory was serving me well. Some dude 5990 says something funny here. They say, when introducing myself in English, I feel awkward. Should I pronounce my name the native way or the English way? Either way, either they can't pronounce it or it feels weird to me. So do whatever you want. I am personally a very big believer in naturalization. When I took a class in Arabic back in college a while ago, I went out of my way to learn what like a Arabic sounding version of my name would be. I was like, as long as I'm practicing Arabic, I am not Andy, I am not Andrew, I am Andres. Andres. That's a normal Arabic name, and that's what I went with. I think when... And you'll see me do this in my video. In my video about Chinese, and, like, China doesn't exist, there's loads of instances in that video. I'm back at the beginning of the room. Well, at least I know where I am. In fact, okay, now that I know where I am, it should actually be relatively easy to find my way forward. All right, let me finish what I'm saying here, though. So, like, I don't know. Personally, what I feel like when one is introducing a new word to somebody, it's usually sort of, I don't know, impractical, kind of unfair to expect them to be able to pronounce phonemes that don't occur naturally in whatever language they speak. So, like, I personally think it's usually a good idea to... Can I get through here? Or is... No, that's not a good idea. I feel like a lot of people just don't really appreciate, like, the breadth, like, the variety of noises that the human vocal system can make, and the variety of ways that people can... I know exactly where I am. Okay. If I just go, like, straight ahead, there should be a door right around here. What? Where am I? Alright, somewhere in here should be the last blue clover. Also a key? My map indicates that there's a key somewhere in this room, but that doesn't make any sense because I've gotten through all the doors in this level already. Okay, blue... Shit. I'm not sure where I am anymore. Ominous. Can I just speed through here? Answer, kinda. Okay, is it just the stamina acorns that respawn? Okay, I feel like I might be going the exact wrong direction. Let's go back. It is insane how fast that little sprint, the sprint thing is. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat very much right now. Just... Is this a dead end? How did I get to a dead end? How did this happen? I have a really distinct memory of mentioning that Arabic is kind of difficult to a high school teacher of mine, because I was teaching myself a bit of Arabic, like, in class while I was bored and had nothing else to do. Is there anything over here? I remember mentioning that learning Arabic is kind of hard because there's all these sounds in Arabic that don't exist in English. And this teacher who I knew for a fact knew a little bit of Spanish and had sometimes, like, substitute taught Spanish a little bit, seems certain that I could only possibly be referring to one sound, and that's the sort of a velar fricative, a h sound. And she says, "Oh, you mean that sound? That sound exists in Spanish." And it's like, like she thought that like there's only one phoneme that English doesn't have, and like the notion that there are more sounds that don't exist in English's phoneme inventory was just utterly foreign to her. And like I remember, I think back about that a lot to try to remind myself that like the average person who isn't interested in linguistics just has no idea the range of possibilities that exist for human language. You know, the variety of possible phoneme inventories that... Fuck! I just clipped through the top of the little exit tunnel. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to start the whole level out over now. Oh, boy. Alright, I might as well take this as an opportunity to get caught up on chat. Hey, Zidnath, can you roll your R's? Yeah, probably if I tried. Jakenziar says, I would say pronounce it the native way and watch the confusion on their faces when they try to pronounce it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like to most people it'll just sound... like they'll just try to approximate it. And... I don't know, it won't produce confusion. At the very most, it'll produce, like, embarrassment. I don't know if Andar... I was trying to say it with an R sound, not an L sound. So not quite Andalus, or Andalus, but Andalus. Also, my Arabic pronunciation has definitely gone down the toilet. It's been... God, it's been like 10 years since I've been in an Arabic class. Huh. Chamo says, I think vocal non-variety is good at times. When I try speaking German, I find my tongue starts to hurt quicker than it would with English. That is really interesting. I have to use an idiolect if I want to look like I'm trying to pronounce things correctly, but try not to hurt myself. Some dude 5990 says, yeah, there's all sorts of sounds. Do I remember what each of these sounds makes? I don't remember the difference between all of the different pharyngealized phonemes. No, yeah, I do. Okay, in order. I think some dude 5990 has posted in chat to, ha, ha, do, bo, rein, and ein. I think that's right. It's a pharyngealized T, the velar fricative, the pharyngeal fricative, the super weird asymmetrical voiced alveolar pharyngealized one that's kind of unique to Arabic, then the pharyngealized D, then the voiced velar fricative, and the voiced pharyngeal fricative. So yeah, there's like a half dozen different sounds in Arabic that don't exist in Okay, no, we're not going on. Go back to the beginning of... We're going back to the beginning of level 8 so that I can try to get all the blue clovers. One person said of that teacher I was talking about, she just sounds ignorant, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, she was. That's part of what I'm getting at here. It's like, if you haven't been taught a little bit about the basics of linguistics, like if you haven't been exposed to it, and most people haven't been exposed to it, frankly, I think most people just find linguistics really boring. Man, I had a cultural anthropology teacher in college who just openly admitted that linguistics was like her least favorite part of anthropology, and she just found the whole thing just incredibly boring. And she insisted to the entire class that every single European language was related, like genetically related. And that she was talking about the Indo-European language family, and she insisted every single European language is part of the European language family. And I remember piping up and going, "What about Basque? What about Finnish? What about Hungarian?" And she goes, "Yep, those too." And I just... God, I still get mad thinking about it. And I came back to her later and with like evidence that like, no, you're wrong about this. This is like really basic historical linguistics. Like, not like almost all European languages are related. Almost all European languages are Indo-European languages, but not all of them. And she just kind of shrugged her shoulders and went, whatever. I honestly don't really care about linguistics at all. Point is, most people think linguistics is boring, and I think that's okay, honestly. Like, we don't all have to be interested in the same thing. But it does mean that, like, people don't often appreciate how hard it is to, like, learn how to pronounce phonemes that don't naturally exist in your phoneme inventory. Like, even those of us who do this for fun, like, if you give me, like, an IPA transcription of something, I can take, like, a decent stab at pronouncing, like, anything from any language, but, like, there's a decent chance there'll be a few symbols in it that I won't recognize, and even if I do recognize every single symbol in it, it's like the small details of, like, exactly how to pronounce what, like, how many, like, think about how hard it is to just, like, think about how impressive it is when an English speaker can perfectly mimic or perfectly produce an accent, like a dialect of English that isn't their native dialect. Like, that's incredibly impressive when a person can do that. But, like, I don't think we appreciate how sort of similarly difficult it is to, like, really truly accurately pronounce something from another language. If I don't find some health here, I am going to die. I am almost definitely going to die in the very near future. I don't know how I didn't just die. But, like, when I made my video on, like, Chinese doesn't exist, there's a whole bunch of words that I nativized. I nativized really deliberately, because, like, I want to be able to talk about, like, the Han Dynasty, or the Zhou Dynasty, or the Song Dynasty, or the Han people. Like, there's just a whole bunch of, like, proper nouns that come from Chinese words that I want to be able to talk about. But, like, the way loan words work, like, when a loan word gets adopted into a new language, like, you kind of have to nativize it. And a lot of people don't do that. Like, a lot of people... I recently watched a history video about that was about the history of China, and it was full of place names in Chinese and the person went way out of their way to try to correctly pronounce all of the tones and all of those words. And I just remember thinking, like, I don't know, like, you're showing off that you can do it, but, like, other than that, like, what is the point of that? Because none of the native English speakers who are watching the video are going to be able to, like, repeat any of this, you know? None of them are going to be able to take these words that you're giving them and use them themselves. And I feel like when you introduce new vocabulary to someone, it's kind of, I don't know, there's, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I think I'm supposed to back up and let them forget I'm here, and then roll in really fast. Okay, I have not been... Lots of stuff has been happening in chat while I've just been playing the game and ignoring it. Alright. I'll get caught up on chat in a little bit. Right now I wanna play the game just a little bit here. Wait, where is this? This isn't on my map. Where am I? Wait, no, this is on my map. I know where I am. Never mind. I briefly saw someone in the chat say that over-pronouncing things can be distracting. I can see that. I can see that being distracting. Yeah. For me, it's not just, I don't know, it's not a matter of something being distracting. I don't know, maybe it is distracting, but for me it's like, okay, if I'm telling you about the history of some random country in the world somewhere, and I say, and I tell you, and then the third king of this kingdom was named, the third king of this kingdom was named Salam. And then you say Salam, and then I say no, Salam, Salam. Like you're never gonna get that. Like no matter how many times I grab you by the lapels and say Salam, like I would have to like teach you step by step to pronounce a pharyngealized S, you know? Like, and like that would take like a lot of work, like on your part. Like if you want to accurately pronounce Salam, like that's gonna take a while and a fair amount of effort on your part. So like I could do that, or I could just say the king of this kingdom was named Salam. I could just nativize it. I could just pronounce the pharyngealized S as a normal S. And like, yes, if we're thinking in terms of like correct Arabic pronunciation, then that's just straightforwardly wrong. But like an English speaker is never going, like a native English speaker. What just happened? What? The game is just straight up glitching. Is it gonna stop? Has it already stopped? Alright, I think the game might be done glitching. So like if there were an Arabic king whose name was Salam, I can't even do it like completely correctly. Like it's really tricky. But if there was someone with that name, I would, and I were telling an English speaker about it, I would just say Salam, because I would want them to be able to say it back to me, you know? Like, I would want them to... Okay, I think there was a blue clover somewhere in the room I just went through. And it is for that exact reason that in my video about Chinese and how China doesn't exist, I went out of my way to not even try to produce any of the tones, or frankly, most of the like with all of those Chinese words, I went ahead and nativized them. And I feel like nobody even like got what I was even trying to do. I saw a whole lot of comments along the lines of, fuck, where are you going to drop me? Are you going to drop me in a vat of acid? Or are you going to drop me somewhere survivable? You are taking me really far away from where you picked me up. Alright. I'm glad I'm still alive. That firefly easily could have dropped me in a vat of acid. And I'd be dead right now. I saw a whole bunch of comments on my Chinese video along the lines of, well, at least he tried. No! I did not try. I was not trying to, like, pronounce Mandarin Chinese with maximum fidelity. Like, I was trying to say strings of English phonemes to represent proper nouns that, like, a native English speaker could say back if they wanted to. The main benefit to overpronouncing, as you might call it, you could call it overpronouncing. You could also just call it like, you could also just call it pronouncing it according to the phonetics of the language that the word was borrowed from. But whatever you call it, I feel like the main benefit to doing that is to sort of just demonstrate that you can, and that can be fun. Like, that's not always a bad thing. Like, just showing off your ability to do that, especially if you're trying to, like, signal, I don't know, that, like, your own origins or, like, the amount of work you've put into, like, being, like, a really competent speaker of whatever language. Like, that there are valid reasons to do it. I just... Alright, this has been a very long ramble on my part. Let me get caught up on chat a little bit, because I am... One person says that a New Yorkie's accent is very difficult to imitate. Yep. I've lived in Ireland my entire life, but still sound English because of my parents. Yep. That'll happen. Qwerty Trig asks, how do I pronounce the country name Chile? Chile? Oh, or Chile. I'm realizing that that's... I mean, the honest answer is, I can't remember a time in my life... I can't remember a specific time in my life when I have needed to refer to that country. I don't know. I feel like I might say Chile or I might say Chile. I probably say Chile. And I don't call... So, can I get past these guys? I said I was gonna stop and get caught up on chat, and then I got like a few comments ahead, and then forgot what I was doing and just went back to playing the game. Yes! Some dude 5990. Speaking of not My throat. Ah. Speaking of not nativizing, that reminds me of the College Humor video, guy who overpronounces foreign words. Okay, yes. I love that video so much. It is everything I'm talking about when I talk about when people refuse to nativize foreign words. Like that video, guy who overpronounces foreign words by College Humor. Like it's such a good video. It makes me wish I could get it. Like it makes me want to just tattoo the entire script of that video on my back or something. Huh, Jim Cullen says that they pronounce the name of the country with the E from my first attempt, but the A from my second. So, okay, hang on. My first attempt was Chile, my second attempt was Chile. So you say, like, Chile? Chile? I feel like this is a little bit tangential, because Chile, Chile, and Chile, like, all of these only use English phonemes, so we're not even... We're talking about, like, competing nativizations here, not even, like, a difference between nativizing and not nativizing. It reminds me of Iraq. Like, there's more than one way to nativize. Because, like, you don't want to go around in English calling it Iraq. Iraq. Can I do it remotely correctly? Iraq. 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 Uvular plosive is tricky, but... And I'm dead. Alright, somewhere there's a blue clover I missed. Right, what time is it? How long have I been streaming? It is... it is 3 a.m. exactly. Alright, I'm gonna play a little bit more, I think. I'm gonna try to find that blue clover. If I can't do it quickly, I might just give up. You know what I might do is I might, like, practice this level a whole bunch tomorrow, and then tomorrow evening, when I'm ready to play again, I can come in and just demolish this level for all of you, for your entertainment. I at least want to see if I can find the particular... There's a blue clover somewhere right around here. Somewhere in this little room should be a blue clover. If I can find it. There you are. Alright, that's a good stopping point. Some dude 5990 says of the Arabic letter Ain, when I try to teach people, I say, think of the sound you make when you're angry. Oh, oh, that's hard on my throat. Oh, damn. I completely forgot there was a Ain in... There's a Ain at the beginning, so it's Ra. But, well, oh, that's tricky. Ra. I just forgot that consonant was there. Ra. It's always hard in Iraq, Iraq, Iraq. Ah, jeez. Iraq, Iraq, Iraq. I used to be able to do this. I can say it with different vowels. Like I can say al-Arabi. It's easier if it's in the middle of a word, I think. It's harder when it's at the beginning of a word. Al-Arabi, Iraq, Iraq, Iraq. Ah. I remember, I think I've posted this before somewhere, but there was one time I had a Lyft driver whose native language was Arabic, and I remember I just said to them, Assalamu alaikum, and they said back, I can't say back what they said. They said alaikum assalam, except it's like they compressed it into like 2 syllables. It was insane. It was like alaikum salam, alaikum salam. But and yet he complimented me on my pronunciation. I couldn't carry on a conversation in Arabic even a little bit, but he seemed impressed with my pronunciation of assalamu alaikum, and like I rode the high from that compliment all day. It felt so good. All right, on that note, hope y'all have a good night. I will see you tomorrow night for hopefully what should be a much more competent attempt at playing level 8 of this silly game. All right. Good night, everyone.